As we transition, man, we're going to give you some game now. We really want you to understand how to monetize your message. And as you may know already in the community, a lot of them have already tapped in with our expert keynote writing coach extraordinaire. But he's going to really help you monetize your game. So you want to take out your notebook, take out your phone, and let's give it up for our brother, Kevin Knox. Give it up for him.
What's up, y'all? So, how y'all feeling? Y'all good, though? You know, I just want to take a moment. Obviously, I got to give a huge shout out to my guy, Jay. You know, I love you, man. I thank you for all that it is that you do, and just even presenting me with the opportunity and trusting me with your community, bro. Thank you. You know what I mean? To the whole entire Next Level family, I love each and every one of y'all. Y'all are my family, you know what I'm saying? And to each and every one of y'all, man, listen, it has been a pleasure and an honor to meet each and every one of you, hear all of your stories, and it's been an honor to help craft your message. The last time that I got to be on the stage, I talked about the art of storytelling, like crafting that message. But you know, it comes a point in time where after we craft the message, yo, it's that thing that's like kind of in the back of our head. Some people don't really want to ask, but it's like, no, yo, how make money for real? How monetize this thing? You know what I'm saying? And honestly, you know, everybody's different. Like what worked for Jay is not going to probably work for everybody. You know what I'm saying? We all have our own way. God has a path for all of us. You know what I'm saying? But also, like, you can't be so busy watching somebody else, and I think that's where the problem is. We look at what other people had happen, but that's not the success way that God has for you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I've been like, y'all see me now, but like, yo, I've been doing this for like 7 years, full time. But the crazy thing, I've been at this for like 10. You know what I'm saying? Like overall, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I want you guys to really just trust God, you know what I'm saying, that He's working it out and He's always developing you, you know what I'm saying? You know, over time, I would write down my pain. I never knew that as I was writing down my pain, I would actually give birth to my first best-selling book. And I said, shoot, all the girls liked it. So I was like, hey, I can write one book, maybe I can write 2. You know what I'm saying? So then after that, you're now looking at a cat. You know, I have written over 9 books. I have written over, you know, that's not even including all the books that from non-disclosure agreement. I can't tell who I wrote books for, but I wrote a lot of books and curriculums and journals and the whole 9. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, the cool part about it is I never even knew that I was developing a business structure. You know, my grandma, she always gave me the Bible. That was the thing. You know what I'm saying? And it was this scripture that she would give to me. She loved Dr. Miles Monroe. If anybody knows who that is, y'all, he was a beast. And Dr. Miles Monroe, and I want to share it with you guys, he had gave, like, you know, the first command that he gave man was actually a business strategy. Y'all ever heard of be fruitful and multiply? And a lot of people think that means to have kids. I realized that it could be a little different. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, y'all know Jay-Z be like, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. We have to walk as a business. You are the business first, right? And so watch this. Be fruitful, right? What does be fruitful mean? It means in the Hebrew language to be productive, like to produce something, right? But you cannot produce something. It's like, yo, why would God say be fruitful, but wait, where's the seed? The seed, that means like it's implied that you already have a seed in you, right? You know the seed is just your idea. Anytime God gave you the idea, He already gave you the yes. Your idea is actually your income. It just hasn't been sprouted yet. You know what I'm saying? The next thing He says, multiply. This is important because anything that you produce, if you can't reproduce it, you can't make money. Like if I come out with a car, right? You know what I'm saying? Boom, I made a car, right? But if I can't make multiple of them, it's just my car. I can't sell it. Does that make sense? So I want you to think of yourself as a speaker. Okay, I can produce a message. I got my message, right? Like, so y'all heard my story, right? That's my message. But how do I reproduce it? We're going to talk about that. All right? The next thing is replenish. You know, you got to distribute your product or your service. But to have a distribution system like Walmart, Target, they have a system, they have a structure. And I know you guys are ready for that structure, right? Yeah. Okay? Subdue it. The subdued, we have to control the market. And what I mean by that is best known always beats best. I don't care how great you are. It's irrelevant if nobody knows about you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like you gotta like let the world know, yo, I'm here. And you gotta be confident in what God gave you, right? The last thing is you have to, God had gave us dominion, have dominion. In other words, whatever it is that you do, you gotta see yourself as the best before anybody else sees you as the best. You gotta see yourself as great before anybody else sees you as great. Just like my grandma said, walk in the shoes of your greatness, not the irrelevant opinions of others. That's what you gotta do first, because if you don't believe you're great, why should I believe you're great? Dominate that industry that you're in, right? Make sense? Yes. So, how to monetize your message. You know how we have the tree trunk, right? You know with the tree trunk, that's the base of who you are. You know what's so cool about a tree trunk that I learned this morning? Is that the tree trunk is actually how you identify a tree, like the identification. And what did I say your tree trunk is? It's your story, where you once was at, your crossroads moment, and where you are now. That's how people identify you. You know what I'm saying? By your story. If I talk about like Jay's story, if I talk about like Inky Johnson or some of the Les Browns or some of the, we know them by their story. That's how we ID them, right? Okay. We all know we got our trunk, right? Y'all got your trunk, right? All right, cool. What's the next thing? Like, let's back up. We have to start with that seed. Let's go back to that seed. Your seed, do you know that your seed is actually your purpose? And shout out to Y Renee because she got me a shirt from a quote that I say that before you are a person, you are actually a purpose. Yes. You are always a purpose before you was a person. I'm going to tell you why some of you guys are frustrated of where you're not where you want to be. It's because you're too busy walking in the person of who you want to be and not the purpose of who God created you to be. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So, and here's the thing. A seed, like you can't grow operating in just a person. You're shaped by life's conditions. Your purpose was here before you were even conscious of it. So how you gonna tell your purpose with the, you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So the next thing is the root, right? So you got your seed, then you got your root. What is your faith rooted in? You have to be rooted in that purpose. In other words, just like how Jay said, yo, I gotta get connected. I gotta get connected to the one who gave me purpose, and I gotta be connected to that purpose. Make sense? Right? Now, let's get into the branches. You have your tree trunk, but then you have branches. There are multiple ways to be able to deliver your message. And the multiple ways to deliver your message is how you monetize your message, okay? And we're going to get into that. But what does the branches then do? It bears what? Fruit. Right? And fruit, and also what does a tree have? Leaves. Right? And here's the thing. With the fruit and the leaves, the fruit is for you to be able to create your impact. We have to make an impact in the lives of people first. That's why we do what we do, right? But also, the leaves, it bears income. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because here's what's so crazy. That I did my research today is that the purpose of the leaves is how the tree feeds itself. It absorbs the sunlight, right? And then it creates like this sugar. And that's how the tree actually eats. Ain't that wild? That's crazy, right? So, y'all ready to dive a little deeper into like how we actually get to monetizing? Yes. All right, so the first thing that I actually did was I wrote a book, right? Because, and y'all, I know some people struggle like, yo, it's hard to write a book. No, it ain't. Listen, if you a speaker, right? So watch this. If I say, hey, yo, Jay. I say, yo, Jay, man, I want you to speak at this conference, bro. And I want you to speak on your tree trunk. So he already knows his what? His message. And bro, all I want you to do is give the people just 4 steps. Just 4 steps of empowerment, 4 steps of motivation, 4 steps of encouragement. Y'all follow me? That's easy, right? Could you imagine if so now Jay, thank you for that conference. Yo, Jay, I got this conference next week. Can you do the same thing, just a different topic? And all I asked Jay is if he could just do it 8 times. Just 8 times. Do you know that if you could crack that 8 times, one topic with 4 subtopics, do you now know you have 8 chapters with 4 subchapters? Does it make sense? Yeah. So here's what's so crazy. The first step that you guys got to do, you got to speak for free. And I mean, even when you get in money, speak for free. You know why? Because just because you're up there speaking for free, they don't know you're doing it for free. Right. You know what I'm saying? All my greatest opportunities came because I spoke for free. Look, I got a chance to speak at the Boston Celtics in 2018, right? First time I got to speak in the NBA. You know how they found me? I was speaking for free out of high school. It just so happened that one of the athletic directors saw me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, bro, that was dope. Yo, my team needs that because Kyrie Irving at the time was down with a knee injury. Gordon Hayward just went out with a broken ankle and stuff like that. Yo, they need motivation. You know what I'm saying? Because I did it for free. You know what I'm saying? I still do free to this day. You know what I'm saying? Here's the other thing. is when you write a book, let's check this out. So 8 chapters, 4 sub-chapters, that means we got 32 sub-chapters total. That makes sense? So then if I just, pull out my phone, right? I get a teleprompter app called Big View, right? I take the manuscript of my book, I upload it chapter by chapter, and I read it with personality, right? I'm just reading it with personality. Guess what I now have? I do, but before I even get there, guess what? I have an 8-module course with 32 lessons. Y'all caught what I just said? I got an 8-module course with 32 lessons, right? So now, here's the next thing that I gotta do. I gotta create a community. Because what's the point of me going fishing for people and I got nowhere to take them? And then in my community, I have a free part where we just fellowship. I might just drop some content. And like Jay said, I might drop that audio book. I might drop that ebook or whatever the case may be. They allow people to engage. But then I have a VIP version in my community, which may just be my personal mastermind, where you might pay a little subscription to be a part of this exclusive content. Does that make sense? Because you have to build community, because the best way to build your brand is to get other people to talk about it. Okay? Especially if you're adding value. Is this making sense so far? Okay? And so then what I want you guys to think about is when you create that ebook, you could take your first one of your best chapters and the 4 top subtopics. That's your ebook right there. Because you need a freebie. Right? Does that make sense? So you take the first, any chapter of your book, right? The 4 sub-chapters, that's your freebie. That's your ebook. So when people go to your website, get this free download. Now they subscribe to your mailing list and you get them to go into your community so you can stay engaged with them. And then now the course is your do-it-yourself. Because you got to have what's called a freebie. Then you have to have a do-it-yourself. Because there's some people I could do that. I just need like a little guidance. That's where the course comes in. But if you got an 8-chapter book with 32 sub-chapters, an 8-module course with 32 lessons, guess what I now have? I also got an 8-month coaching program with 32 sessions. Right? Now I got a group coaching program. Right? But let me tell you something. When people get in a group coaching program, people want information, but they will pay for intimacy. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you have that good value. You can't just be giving out no bull crap. You gotta have added value. Most of the clients who have ever hired me is because they feel connected to me. They want that intimacy. They want that one-on-one. And guess what that is? That's your high ticket value. Now I got one-on-one coaching or consulting. But you got 4 sub-chapters. It's 5 days in a week. You know what I'm saying? One could be hey, I'm going to say a quote from my book. Then I'm going to post the quote text of my book. Then I'm going to post a picture with my book. You know what I'm saying? You got your Motivational Monday, 2-Minute Tuesdays, Affirmation Wednesdays. Just strategize it like that. Work smarter, not harder. And then boom, because I got 4 sub-chapters in my book, I already got the month covered. Just your first 8 months is out the way with social media. The crazy thing from that point on, if that's social media, we want to stay engaged with social media. Now, guess what? Since you got 32 sub-chapters, 32 lessons, you got a 32-episode podcast. Split that in half, you got 3 seasons. Oh, not half. If you break that down, if you split the 32, you got 3 seasons of your podcast. You know what I'm saying? And if you really want to get busy with it, do chapter 1 through 8, right? In your community, right? And then guess what? For the free public on social media, do chapter 8 through 1. Just reverse it. They ain't gonna know. Does this make sense? Yes. Yeah, why y'all laughing? It's simple, right? And so here's the crazy thing. Now, y'all want to get to some real money? All right. At the last mastermind, Jay had mentioned, yes, it's true that I did make $300,000 off of a contract, right? The crazy thing is, Jay Harvey, right? We had a call. And he knows, in my line, I flipped my screen around. I did not get $1. I spoke, right? I didn't make no money speaking. What you think they bought? They bought, schools don't always buy books, but they buy the what? The curriculum. You know what I did with the book? All y'all did was just take out the meat from the book, and I just left open-ended questions. What would you do? So I got a chapter, how to eliminate self-doubt. You know what I did? Ask questions. What are you doubting about? What do you want to change about it? What are some decisions? I'm just asking strategic questions, open-ended questions that allow them to express themselves. And then it was so crazy. You know what I did? I didn't change nothing of the content in the curriculum. But you know what I did? I just changed the cover art. I just took off curriculum, put workbook, and then I said that to the adults. Working smarter, not harder. And then I just made a journal. I don't got nothing in the journal but quotes and blank pages, and I sell it as a package deal. Get the journal, the workbook, and the book. Oh, did you know I got a course? Do y'all see what I'm building up to? Oh, wait a minute, my tree trunk is my book, but actually I got all of these branches. Yo, I still got a long list to go. I'm not even gonna get through all of them. But the crazy thing is that now I can create brand apparel. You know what I'm saying? Now I got people rocking my brand. That's one. That's another one. Now here's one of my favorite ones, right? Is about building your brand and monetizing, and continue to monetizing your message is this. There are 4 quarters in a year, right? So if we have an 8-chapter book, we just split it in 4. We do 4 online events. And then after we do our 4 online events, we do 4 in-person events, right? Of our best chapters. But you know, for that 4th quarter, we go to a conference and we're going to name the conference after our book, and we just build our brand that way. And then now we go out to the community, like we get this church to come, we get that school to come, we invite as many people as we can invite. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but wait a minute, because we got a community, we actually can use them to be able to promote it for us, right? And so now we can give them incentives, like, yo, you get 10% off on a coaching session, or you got VIP here if you get a certain amount of people to come and everything like that. And so now that you're building this community, guess what? When you get on stage and speak, you already are now established as an expert when you come out with a book, but you will look even more like an expert because you had a registered event, a conference. And now you're doing your thing and you building your brand. Don't you know that people are going to come up to you, oh my gosh, that presentation was amazing. Do you have a card? Yes, I do. Right? And then now they're going to book you to speak at that church, and then this, whatever your target audience may be. You know what I'm saying? Now, the biggest thing that I ever did was investing into that nonprofit, that 501c3. You know what I'm saying? And so what I actually did was I got tired. All these schools was paying me out of a particular budget, and they paid like $10,000 a quarter to speakers, right? And I was like, where are they getting this money from? I found out that they have a $500,000 grant. And I'm over here hoping that they book me to speak so I can get $10,000, but they got $500,000. So then I realized when I go to these nonprofits, I work with affiliated nonprofits, I was like, dang, they getting all that, like, maybe they might get $50,000, but they might really only pay me $20,000. You know what I'm saying? So I said, yo, why don't I just start my own nonprofit, cut out the middleman, go after the grant myself? Because you know what's so crazy? When they go after the grant, all they're doing, you know why they ask for my proposal? It's because they want my skill sets, my objectives, what it is that I do. And then they add it into their grant because they have objections, and then they get approved off of my skill set. That's my money. So then, because see, you can integrate the nonprofit with your LLC. You just can't mix the money, though. You know what I'm saying? So there's legal terms to it, but you still can, intertwine it too. So what it is that I do is, name of my nonprofit is the School of Hard Knocks. That's what I graduated from. I graduated with a degree in purpose. You know what I'm saying? And so I get all this funding. And so what I do is, this is a secret. I shouldn't even tell you all this, but I love y'all. Yo, what I actually do is I partner with as many people who do what I can't do. I can never do what Dewan does, right? I'm smart, but I ain't that smart. He's like, I would cheat with him in high school. Like, he's smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what it do is I'll never be able to look like Jay, even though I'm low-key trying. That's what I'm saying. I made a mistake. I should, real quick, right? So I had this girl, right? I'm dating this joint, right? So I sent it. No, I shouldn't say that. That's gonna probably be embarrassing. I shouldn't say. Should I say? Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So this gonna happen, right? Dating this girl, right? So I'm on here like, yo, I'm tired of Jay looking all big on stage. That's why I got the long sleeve. Last time I had the hoodie. She's like, man, why don't you get your arms out? I can't. You know what I'm saying? So I said, all right, look, that's what I'm going to do. I said, look, so she said, find somebody that you inspired by. I love Floyd Mayweather. He was in this picture, he flexing, muscle, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, boom. All right, Floyd. I sent it to her. She's like, all right, bet, that's a good goal. Okay, cool. I started doing the push-ups like Floyd. 2 weeks go by. She says, well, his muscles is all right. Wait a minute. So if he is where my goal is, and he's just all right, what you really think of me? You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, all right. So then I said, nah, keep it real. I'm not insecure. Let me know what kind of body type you like. But I do it. What's up? You know what I'm saying? She sends me a picture of Michael B. Jordan from Creed. Jay, that's the first thing that turned me on. I said, well, lost that one. But he said, I looked up the Creed workout. He does 10 sets of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I was like, oh, I can do that. I did 10 push-ups. Then I did 9 push-ups, 8, all the way down to 1. I was dead. I couldn't even do another push-up. I didn't know that meant he did that 10 times every time. Hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Like, so I realized that's 550 push-ups, only did 65. I literally didn't want to shake nobody's hand when I got here because I couldn't raise my hand. So if I give you like the church hug, don't take it personally. Right? So I got like a couple minutes left. Oh no, y'all gonna mess me up. I'm gonna finish this. Listen, y'all wonder why I was emotional? It's because I was like, yo, Jay, thank you, because that means that tomorrow I'm gonna get my lady, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, she coming, bro. You know what I'm saying? I ain't out here hustling, getting all this money for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, get my shorty, yo. She coming. You know what I'm saying? So, just mind your business if y'all see me with different. I'm testing the market. So, here's the thing, real quick, is I want to tell y'all something. As y'all start to build this infrastructure of your business, I don't want to just tell y'all the positives. I want to give y'all some of the negatives that I had, not as a negative, but to help you when you are discouraged. Is that I struggle with this one question called what if. It still haunts me to this day. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if I fall? Right? But did you know that there's a positive? Well, what if this is my opportunity? What if I do make it? Yes. But I realized I had to get away from the what ifs altogether and move to the next level of I will. So I started saying, I will be great. I will be amazing. Yes. But then I started to get a little smart because I started to learn about the subconscious mind, and I learned that the subconscious mind can't register with the word I will. Right? I am, yep. And I was like, oh, the subconscious doesn't understand the past or the present. The future, only the present, right? So now I started to say I am, and I say, yo, why is this so powerful? And then that's when I realized when Moses had said, well, God, who should I say that has sent me? And he said, well, I am that I am. I am that you need, whatever you need me to be in the present moment. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, because you gave me purpose. Oh, I'm connected to purpose. Oh, you know best. I am a 6-figure speaker. I am. Y'all follow me on that? Yeah. And so then the crazy thing is I'm sorry to talk about the Bible a lot, but I don't even care because I love the Bible. It's my favorite book. One of my favorite stories in the Bible is actually Matthew chapter 14. And the reason why it reminds me when I get discouraged is because there's a passage in Matthew chapter 14 where Jesus had a cousin, right? His name was John, right? And John got beheaded. Like, he gets shot. Like, you can see somebody get shot. Oh, snap. All right, it's a graphic, but you guys like beheaded? That's different. So then, Jesus is hurt. You know what I'm saying? And it's so crazy that, like, if the Bible's talking about, he went to go off to a secluded place. I guess to get his mind right. Like, dang, I just lost my cousin. Got beheaded. Blah, blah, blah. And then he said he got overwhelmed with compassion of an audience that he saw. Yo, that made me realize something, that the pain that I go through ain't just for me, but for other people. You know what's so crazy when I thought about the word compassion? It's relatability. So Jesus was broken in that moment. He was able to look, oh man, I see people, oh, you broken too. Jesus found his target audience.
Wow.
Did you know that your target audience is you?
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the purpose comes in at, right? The story goes on, you know what I'm saying? And then while Jesus is dealing with this crowd, he does, his boys came up to him, Peter and them, hey, yo, bro, it's getting a little late, we kind of hungry, you know what I'm saying? We trying to dip, we trying to eat. Jay gonna be treating, you know what I'm saying? We trying to eat good, blah, 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 blah. So what happened was, he said, nah, they gotta go nowhere, give them something to eat. Jesus, we don't have 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. That's our problem right there. God will give us instruction, but we will tell him what we don't have. He's already equipped us. You see what I'm saying? And so now we wonder why we stagnate, because we operating in person and not the... We operating in person and not the purpose. Operating in person, what I mean by that is you're operating in your emotions of how you feel. But emotions waver and change. I can slap you right now. You're ready to slap me back. But if I ever, here's $100 million, you might be cool with me. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't trust your emotions, right? And so then, what's so wild is, Jesus said, all right, bring it to me. He got frustrated. Bring me what you have. First thing he did, he lifted to the sky and he blessed it. Everybody say, I'm blessed.
I'm blessed.
Say, I'm blessed.
I'm blessed.
See that I am and I'm blessed. Therefore you are. Watch this. So what's so crazy is, how selfish is it for you to be blessed? Y'all just admitted that y'all blessed. I ain't tell y'all. Oh yeah, I did tell y'all. Repeat it. But here's the thing. You are blessed, but how selfish are you to be blessed with a message? Blessed to be here, even though you made your investment, and keep it all to yourself. And not want to go through the second step of what God did, and then he what? Broke it. Therefore, sometimes you got to be broken into pieces so it can be more of you to give. Did you know that you're broken into pieces in your branches? It's not that I'm just creative and I'm gifted. God was like, nah, bro. Like Jay says it all the time. Like, nah, yo, I'm not just no motivational speaker here. Like, that's why I got curriculums. That's why I got businesses. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to have that book. That's why you got to have that course. You know what I'm saying? Did you know your income is in your brokenness? You were broken on purpose, for purpose. Stop complaining about the brokenness. You know what I'm saying? The last thing that I love as the story goes on, after Jesus fed the crowd, he goes on to a secluded place. He finally prays, gets himself together. He sends his boys across this lake, right? And then I feel like I'm preaching, but it's going to be good for you. So what's so wild is, I'm going to end it like this. I want to end it with this question. Where is your focus when it comes to your monetization? Because watch this. A storm breaks out, right? And as the storm breaks out, all the disciples got scared because they see Jesus like moonwalking, like literally on the water. You know what I'm saying? Like this wild stuff, right? So what's wild is, they're like, yo, Peter's like the one, real raw, real real. Yo, who that? Jesus said, it is I. He's like, what was that? You know what I'm saying? So what's crazy is, he's like, no, don't fear. He said, man, if it's really you, let me come out to the water too. So Jesus said, all right, bet, come. Peter steps out the boat. Yo, it's so easy to step out the boat when you can easily jump right back. Wow. But what's so crazy is Peter started to actually walk a little further. But here's what I think actually happened. Let's say that podium is actually Jesus and I'm Peter. I actually think that Peter was just so focused to see, is that Jesus? Is that the one that gave me them 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread and did some miracle? I'm trying to figure out how he did it so I could pay these kids, feed these kids and all that stuff. I think he was so focused to see if that was Jesus that he didn't even realize that he was walking on water. Wow. You have to be so focused on your goal. You have to be so focused on God. You have to be so focused on your purpose that you don't even realize what you're doing. As me and Jay and Dewan were driving up here in this car, I was getting emotional because Jay was someone I used to study and watch on YouTube, and I had dreamed to be here. I was so focused on being this author. I was so focused on being this speaker, I didn't even realize that I've been living my dream the whole time. I'm literally sitting in the back of the car with my iPhone. So what I'm saying is, I'll leave you with that question. Where is your focus? Focus on your message. Focus on the brokenness from the positive standpoint. Oh wait, I was broken into pieces so it could be more of me to give. So how can I actually take this same message, be able to break it down into a course, break it down into a community, break it down into a curriculum, and it's just the same content because can't nobody tell your story like what? Yeah. That's my time. My name is Kevin.